And in that capacity, we assist our clients in all aspects of running their businesses, which is what these associations are. They're non-for-profit corporations. So we will assist in day-to-day operations. We come out and assist in running meetings, general meetings, elections, annual meetings. We review and interpret governing documents. We help update, amend, rewrite governing documents, contract review and negotiation, and any other issues that may come up in covenant enforcement type matters. And then we do also, we try to, if we can't resolve things, if there are disputes, contract disputes, construction defect related matters, covenant enforcement related matters that can't be resolved short of litigation. We have an experienced litigation team in our offices. We have offices in Pompano Beach and Palm Beach Gardens, and we represent clients up and down the state of Florida. With a concentration primarily from you get Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, and going up to Daytona. And then we do also do a little bit out west as well. And so we have, and of course, we assist our clients with collections. If they have delinquencies, we have a very aggressive approach to collection foreclosure. We have a program under which we advance fees and defer fees and advance costs. Our system's online, so our clients 24/7 can see who's with us in collections. And it's basically a full service law firm where we have hundreds of years of combined experience, as well as the customer service aspect, and that's very important. We can talk about that in a minute because I think somebody's on the phone.
We got our first phone call. We've got a call from Lou. Hi, Lou.
Hi, how you doing?
Do you have a question?
Yes. First of all, I've had the pleasure of attending one of the Cape Benders sessions at the HOA conference at the downtown at the I forget
the convention center.
Convention center. Yes, it was very good, and
thank you.
I was on the board at that time. I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but the question is, we have a board of that calls for 11 members. The board was stacked with people just to get run, to keep other people off. Within 2 weeks, one quit in November, and another one just quit. Now we have 9, and there's no concern, except among quite a few residents, that they're going to fill those seats. Is there anything that we can do as the membership, since our documents call for 11, and now we're down to 9 with no movement on filling those seats?
Well, Lou, when a community has a set number of board members, so long as there are a majority of seats that are filled, the association can function. So they can actually have as few as 6 on the board, so long as they're all present at a meeting and be able to function, even though there are 11 total seats.
As long as they have a quorum.
As long as there's a quorum that can conduct business. There's no entitlement of the membership to compel the board to fill vacancies. That's a decision that the board would make on its own. They should, if they have the vacant seats, so that there is sufficient participation. The only remedy that owners would have would be considering removing those board members that aren't doing the things the board or the membership wants of them through the recall process, which can be a little time consuming and could be eventually costly to the association if it ends up in an arbitration, but there is no other available remedy to compel them to fill the vacancies.
Well, that's good to know, because otherwise we'd be spinning our wheels then, because we have 546 units here.
Well, getting a recall out of that many can be certainly a chore.
Hard. Yeah, so they can do it. And
well, maybe in the next election, campaigning to get a full board in place.
Yeah, well, we have a person who is not even an owner who is running things behind the scenes and stacking the board with who she wants. Unusual, but that's how it's been going. So,
well, it's not as unusual as you think. And it's important for the membership to be active and participating in what goes on in their association. So if you can beat the drums and get the people interested, that's step number one.
Yeah. Right now they're discouraged and there's very little interest. So that's what we have to live with for right now, and we can work on it, I guess. I appreciate your answer, and it clears up.
Thanks, Lou.
Thanks for calling.
Hey, we have another call. Let's go to John. Hi, John.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I have two very short questions. The first one is, we are an HOA, and my question is, if a contract is signed by the association's chairman and it is not noted in the minutes, is this a binding agreement? And this power is not addressed in our documents.
Well, when somebody who has the appearance of authority of the association enters into a contract with a third party who otherwise does not have knowledge of any potential impropriety, the contract is binding on the corporation, being the association. If the membership believe that the board member acted inappropriately in entering into the contract, claims can be made against the board member for a breach of his fiduciary duty, which would likely fall to the association's insurance carrier to provide defense to it. It would cost the association its deductible and may not help the association at all. If the contract benefits the community, whether or not it's noted in the minutes would not necessarily be an issue. It could be just bad record keeping.
And one way to preclude or attempt to preclude the appearance of, as Robert mentioned, that the appearance of authority, apparent authority, is to have the board adopt a policy at a meeting, put it in the minutes, and then of the requirement for, at least if that's what you want, 2 officers to sign any contract before it's valid and enforceable, and then make sure every vendor that you're working with or considering is aware of that policy, so they can't claim later if the president signs off that, hey, we didn't know, then you could go back and say, this isn't yet valid, we haven't had 2 signatures.
I understand completely. Thank you. My second question, real quick, is if no prior public notice is posted prior to a meeting, are the transactions that occur in the meeting valid?
Well, I guess, first of all, if no notice is posted of a meeting, is a rather vague statement. Do you mean if no notice is posted of a board meeting?
Yes, of course.
Which is not a meet. Well, first of all, you're right. Any meeting of the board, where the board's meeting to conduct business, take action, should be properly noticed to the membership. Even if they're meeting in a closed meeting to discuss personnel issues, which means the membership isn't invited to attend legally, they should post notice of a closed meeting. Similarly, if they're closing a meeting because they're meeting with counsel to discuss pending or possible litigation and get legal guidance, they should still post notice of a closed meeting. If meeting notice hasn't been posted and they are then meeting, there is the allegation that could be made, or a challenge that could be made, is the meeting was not proper. The simplest way to resolve that is for the board to then notice a proper meeting and ratify any decisions they made at that meeting. It's not recommended normal policy, but in the situation where they might have held a meeting and taken action which wasn't properly done, even sometimes boards they'll be spread out throughout the summer, for example, and there's an issue they want to address, so they'll approve a contract without having a meeting. It's, again, not recommended, but they should then have a properly noticed board meeting where one of the agenda items is to ratify any prior actions taken which might not have been done properly. Alternatively, if you have a unanimous board with regard to an action that they want to take, they could execute what's called a written
resolution.
Thank you. Written resolution, which is something that would be, I recommend council prepare for the board, And if it's a 5-member board, all 5 have to sign. 7-member board, all 7 have to sign, etc. That they could sign off that the resolution would act in lieu of the meeting, and then that resolution would be placed in the minute book, acting as the minutes of the meeting. Again, that's not something that that we recommend be done as common course, but it is an option and it's to consider in certain circumstances.
I fully understand.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you very much.
Thanks for your call.
Thanks a lot. We have a minute before we go to our first break. You've got some great news. You have
Yes.
2 new, not called partners. What are they
2
called?
new attorneys with the firm.
We do. Very
Should
exciting.
we just say their names?
We should.
Yeah.
We have Peter Mullengarden and Allison Hertz have joined the firm in our Palm Beach Gardens office. They are long-term community association practitioners in the Palm Beach area, and we're very pleased to have them join our team.
Well, you'll have to bring them in sometime. We're going to go to break right now, and when we come back, hey, give us a call here if you've got a question. Phone number here is 888-565-1470. We've got classes coming up that we got to talk about.
We do.
So the phone number here again is 888-565-1470. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
Public.
And we are back. We're here with the law firm K. Bender Rembaum. First Thursday of the month, we have both Robert K. and Michael Bender, and you guys won an award.
We did for the 4th
Again.
year.
Yeah.
We're very, very excited. We won award from the Florida Community Association Journal Reader's Choice Awards, which, as I understand it, is the voting public. It's the community association industry, which is maybe fellow vendors who appreciate the work that we do, as well as association board members and owners who either we represent or come to a lot of the free education that we offer around the state, primarily the I guess South Florida area. And we were Diamond Award winners, which is the highest level for the 3rd year in a row. And I want to personally thank everyone who did vote for us and gave us that recognition. We do pride ourselves on the work we do and the customer service we offer and the education that we give. And it's nice to be recognized for that type of contribution to the community association industry.
Well,
So thank you.
yeah. First of all, I know you have customer service because your office in Pompano, there's a lot of cars out there. And when you come to this, there's always 2 or 3 people out there at the desk. So I know customer service is very important to you. You've got all these classes. I got to tell you something. They're probably would never tell you this themselves. They're one of the biggest firms when it comes to community association law, and these guys are busy. You're always giving back, though. It seems like you've always got free classes that you offer. So let's
Every
talk
month.
about it. And hey, if you'd like to call us, if you have a question, 888-565-1470. It's 888-565-1470.
So you want to hear about our classes? Well, let me tell you about
got a lot of
we
them.
We do. And we offer classes every month out of our Palm Beach Gardens office as well as our Pompano Beach office. The Palm Beach Gardens office is on 9121 North Military Trail, and Pompano Beach is 1200 Park Central Boulevard South, which is basically Copans and Andrews. And both are very easy to get to. We offer the board member certification classes pretty much every month in Palm Beach Gardens and every other month in Pompano Beach. The Condominium Association board member certification class is going to be in both offices. Next Tuesday, the 7th, will be in Pompano Beach, and the following Wednesday, the 15th, will be in Palm Beach Gardens. They are evening programs, 6:30 in Pompano, 6 p.m. in Palm Beach Gardens.
Let me just say, because if you're going to be running for the board, if you'd like to, if you're thinking about it, tell people what these certifications are for.
Well, the state implemented a law a few years back that requires all board members, community association board members, HOA, condominium, cooperative, in fact, they recently included mobile home board members, have to have a certification. Certification can be obtained one of two ways. The simple way, or the simpler way, is a form that the state has produced that essentially says that you have read your documents, you promise to uphold them, and meet your fiduciary duty to the community, etc. And that is an easy way to go about getting the certification. You sign that within 90 days of being elected or appointed to the board, have it on file with the association, retain a copy for yourselves, you're in compliance, and so long as you stay on the board uninterrupted, you remain in compliance.
But you have to have it, though.
You do. The other way to be certified is through the division-approved board member education course, which is what our firm offers. And even if you sign that certificate, come out and take at least one of these education courses from us in either office, because you're going to leave with just a bevy of information. The ABCs of being a board member. You're going to take home some great materials which you can rely on and refer back to, just to really help you govern your community. And even if you've been on the board for a few years, come out and get some this education, because you're definitely going to pick up a few tidbits. You have fellow board members and interested community leaders who are there, and they ask some questions which may be something you're dealing with in your community, and you get some great interaction and feedback, and it really, really works out well. So that's what the certification classes are about. And like I said, in February, we will have the Condominium Association board member class in both Pompano Beach on the 7th of February, Tuesday, and Wednesday the 15th. Palm Beach Gardens also is giving the HOA board member class. That's Wednesday, February 8th. In Pompano, we are offering a new class starting this month. And we've been adding some new classes, which we're very excited about, to bring in additional education opportunities to our board members, as well as licensed managers, because all of our classes most of our classes, I think all, do provide manager credit, so managers can come out and get educated. On Thursday, this is a Thursday, we don't normally hold class on Thursday, but Thursday, February 16th, starting at 6:30, we have a class called Cybersecurity, Are You Prepared for a Breach? And I want to briefly, those of you who are listening, cyber breaches do happen every day. And community associations have valuable personal information protected by privacy acts. Community leaders need to understand what transpires if any of that information is compromised. Because you have to remember, the association owns that information, and it's ultimately liable in the event that records are breached, even the records of the management company. Compliance can be costly. So some of the questions come up. Is your association protected? For example, if an online payment is diverted to another vendor, what about payments made to the association online? So anyone who comes to the class, you're learning about common risks, risk management technique, compliance procedures, and how to procure appropriate coverage. And we're excited because we're going to be team teaching the class. It's going to be hosted by Kay Bender-Rembaum, but it's also going to be with national expert Kevin Davis of the Kevin Davis Insurance Services and Matt Reedy of Plastridge Insurance, along with Lisa McGill, who's an attorney with our office. And these three will work together on presenting a great presentation. It's Thursday, February 16th, 6:30 start. It's scheduled for an hour. I imagine it'll run a little longer. But it is, light refreshments will be offered, but there is limited seating. RSVPs are required for all of the classes I've mentioned.
Your website?
kbrlegal.com. Go to our website, or you can send an email to seminars, SEMINARS, seminars@kbrlegal.com to reserve your seats. Okay. Or call 800-974-0680. Now remember that 800 number. Okay, 800-974-0680 or kbrlegal.com. Register for these classes. Come out and visit them. By the way, that cybersecurity class will also be offered in Boca Raton on Wednesday, March 1st. And since our next radio show is after that, let me mention that's a morning, 11:30 to 1:30, a 2-hour program at Plastridge's offices in Boca on 2100 North Dixie Highway. All this information, if you can't make the one on 16th or it ends up filling up, then we have the one on the 1st in Boca. All this information is at kbrlegal.com under the tab classes and courses and seminars. Information on the condominium and HOA board member certifications. We have a class on 40-year building recertification, which is for Miami-Dade and Broward County associations. It's not yet in Palm Beach County. So there's just a lot of information, a lot of classes, and we're adding more new classes. And we just encourage y'all to check the site, reach out to us, and come get some free education.
Ask the lawyer. Ask the attorney. Or
Ask the attorney.
That is my favorite. Wow, I tell you what, there was probably the one I went, there was about 50 people there, and everybody has a question they want to ask. And I think I saw one guy end up asking 7 or 8 questions.
We try to limit that.
Just had one on Tuesday.
We did, yeah. And the Ask the Attorney program is a seminar series. Again, it's a free seminar series that Robert and I have been calling it affectionately our road show, and it's our 9th year doing it. And we have done 4 already this year. We have 2 more scheduled for the month of February. Thursday, the 16th of February, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's going to be at the South County Civic Center on Jog Road in Delray Beach. And the lunch, by the way, will be provided by 2J's at that. So we thank 2J's and come out and get some great education as well as some good food. The following, and then Tuesday, February 28th, 10 a.m. to noon at the Herb Skolnick Center in Pompano Beach is currently our last scheduled one for this year. March dates are tentative. We're not sure if we're going to have any in March because we have a lot of expos and other classes that we're giving. But the 16th of February and Thursday and the 28th of February, Tuesday, we have 2 scheduled. The Ask the Attorneys, as you mentioned, the attendance has been great and we're very excited. People come out, managers, board members come on out. And you set the agenda. We ask people give us a topic, give us a question. We try to keep them as general as possible to apply to the masses. But we'll get a question on official records. Someone will say, hey, I had this issue come up on official records. And we'll address that. And from there, you'll have 4 or 5 other interested people in the audience. Oh, I had something like that. Or what about this? And we really get to really digest the topic and give great information on it. And in 2 hours, and give it 2.5, usually Robert and I will stick around and ask questions. We had about, I'd say anywhere from 7 to a dozen, depending on how meaty they get, real relevant hot topics that the communities are dealing with now, because those who are present come. And if you've been to them, come to another one because they're never the same. And come Thursday the 16th and then also come the 28th. Again, RSVP. To RSVP for those, again, go to our website at kbrlegal.com. But there is, we would ask that you call 954-776-1999, extension 242, through Pearson Grant. They will help set that up. But if you don't remember that, go to our website. All this information is on there at kbrlegal.com.
Now, can somebody call you and have you come out and do a consultation?
Well, community associations are primarily who we represent. So if a board is looking to add new counsel or perhaps consider changing counsel, we encourage them to reach out to us and set up a meeting time, and then myself or another of my experienced colleagues would come out, and yes, it would be a free consultation. No obligation. No charge, no obligation. We spend 30, 45 minutes or so going over who we are, what we do, what the association's issues are. Let's find out exactly what your problems are and how we can help. And
we'll also do that in our offices, of course, at no charge.
We enjoy having people come see the office.
Okay. Phone number here, if you have a question for Robert or Michael, is 888-565-1470. What are some of the hot topics now?
Well, the
is
hot
it still
topics.
The pets?
Well,
that came up at this last seminar a lot.
It tends to come up. It's not as hot of a topic because it's been talked about a lot.
I think people are too resigned.
The emotional support animals are not the service animals, which are the ADA versions for public areas as opposed to the residential ones for
so what would you
the
say
support
are the hot
animals.
Topics?
Well, the hot topic had been the retrofitting for sprinkler systems, which had a December 31, 2016 deadline for certain actions, which applied mostly to high rises, 75 feet or higher. But there was a lot of confusion last year as to whether it applied to all condominiums, not homeowner associations necessarily, but whether it applied to all structures of that nature. And that's still an issue that has caused confusion and is likely going to be addressed in the upcoming legislative session again in Tallahassee.
Right, the ELSS, Emergency Life Safety Systems, is an offshoot of this fire sprinkler retrofit confusion, and that is an ongoing problem because there was no opt-out for that. So there is legislation pending in Tallahassee. Session starts in about a month, and we'll see where that goes. But there remains a lot of confusion. We hear it that's something we're getting calls on, and I have a couple of phone calls set tomorrow to talk to boards about where they're going with that and what to do with that.
Another hot topic we're dealing with quite frequently is people, their documents are old, and they're not up to date with the statutes that change on an almost yearly basis. The case law is always developing. And so reviewing the documents and suggesting changes, creating amended and restated documents, or targeting on specific areas that are out of date or need to be addressed or tweaked or fixed, or new things that aren't in the documents at all. Now, that's something that is becoming more and more common, more and more done, because
and important.
And definitely important.
What about the election process? Is that a hot topic?
Well, given the time of year, maybe after the break we'll talk about elections in more detail.
We're going to go to break now. Remember, the phone number here is 888-565-1470. Give them the phone number at the office.
800-974-0680.
And kbrlegal.com.
You can actually go to their website right now and watch the show live, or you can come back later at a later date and not only watch this show, but other shows. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size, and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
And we are back. This is the Ask the Expert Show. First Thursday of the month. We have K. Bender Rembaum on with us, both Robert K. and Michael Bender, and these are community association attorneys. We've got another call. Let's go to Allison.
Hi, Allison.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for taking my call. I'm really excited to ask you guys some questions.
Okay, what's your question?
So I'm the president of my association, and our board would like to increase voter participation at our annual election meeting. So we were just wondering, how should we implement electronic voting?
Well, electronic voting is an issue that is a semi-hot topic in the election arena because the legislature had adopted provisions 2 sessions ago that allowed for it. But the methods of doing it are very specific and does require the assistance of an outside agency to provide for all of the procedures that the statutes and the rules adopted by the Division of Condominium have put in place. It takes a decision of the board to implement it. It takes the willingness to participate among the owners because not everybody's going to, and owners have to affirmatively opt into the electronic voting. There will likely still be the need to do the voting, the mailing procedure in the condominium, as well as using the electronic, because you will not get 100% participation in the electronic, and everybody has to be included in the election process. To my knowledge, there's still a lot of kinks that have to be worked out. Michael, you have some additional experience on this?
A little bit. Where it would start, Allison, is if the board, as Robert mentioned, if the board is interested in proceeding in that direction, I would recommend you start with investigating companies that offer the service. You can reach out to counsel who has some experience with it. I can tell you that we have investigated and played with a few programs, and they all offer some benefits. There are maybe a couple that would be that we have found might be a little bit more user friendly. So you could touch base, have your board contact your counsel, talk about that, and investigate the programs yourself. Select one that will meet all the requirements of the statutes. And then the board is going to need to, as Robert mentioned, meet and adopt a resolution, which you should definitely have counsel assist with to ensure it meets all the requirements of the statute. And the resolution has to be proper. There's proper certain notice procedures for it, and certain things it has to say. And then that's sent up to the membership, inviting the membership to opt in to the electronic voting process if that's what they want to do. So that's where you would start with the process.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. That was a huge help.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for listening.
Allison. Hey, I got a question to ask you guys. That do you ever see like the associations cutting corners to save money when it comes time to things that a law firm should be handling? Do you see this at all?
Well,
they're both laughing.
Well, it's fine. I mean, we would
when we
see it after the fact when it's like, oh, we wish you hadn't done that.
Right.
Well, one of the big ones would be entering into contracts without having the attorney review it and provide.
100% agree with that.
That one is probably the number one answer.
I think I agree with that. I will tell you also if they're looking to adopt special assessments or undertake borrowing from a bank. Those are two areas where they are best served reaching out to their counsel or experienced counsel to get guidance. Now, if they're self-managed, 100% they should be reaching out to counsel and getting guidance. And if they don't have counsel, they should be willing to hire counsel. We don't have an annual fee to be your attorney. You can hire us for a single matter if that's what you want, and then we just remain available to whenever you need us. But if not us, get other experienced counsel to make sure you're not running into trouble when you're doing things. These projects, and it all ties into what Robert said. It starts with having the contracts absolutely reviewed. I can't tell you the number of people I learned about. Hopefully not really many of our clients. Hopefully they've been well educated and they do listen to us. But I'll go out to, I'll find out either I'm going out and pitching, because someone's interested in possibly hiring us, or I'm at these programs, seminars I'm doing, and someone says, yeah, we signed this contract, $500,000. So they're willing to spend $500,000, even $100,000, but you're not willing to spend maybe $2,500 to have experienced counsel protect the association. That's penny wise, pound foolish. I mentioned earlier, if you're sitting on your board of directors, you've chosen to step up and volunteer, and good for you, but you do have an enhanced duty now to the association. Your duty as an owner, pay your assessments, follow the rules. But once you step up and volunteer, now you have a fiduciary duty to the membership and the community as a whole, not just your own self-interest. And so part of that, and you are running this business, get your experts in order. If you need a management team, get a management team that is qualified and good. There are many out there. Some are better than others. Get a good CPA, get a good insurance agent, get a good, and get someone, and get good counsel, and budget for these things. Have a legal budget have a line item for legal in your budget.
And appropriately funded, of course.
Right. Obviously, updating documents. I have clients who'll come to us and say, hey, look, can you record these amendments for us that we've, and then we'll read them and say, well, we'll record them if you want, but not putting my name on it. Because they'll try to do these things, save a buck, but you just, I understand if it's your personal wallet, you try to say what you're trying to say, but not when it comes to your corporation.
Right. Even when they're dealing with the concept of making amendments to their documents, if they have a committee, oftentimes they'll try and draft up a whole set of documents and then send them to the attorney. It actually can cost them more that way to have the attorney have to review and fix rather than just saying, here's the concepts we would like, and then the attorney can put them into the format that would properly work for a lot less cost.
Especially when you're the experience we have in doing all these different amendments. We
Laundry
have a caller?
releases.
Phone call. Let's go to our
Laundry
caller, Bruce.
Releases.
unit.
Hi, Bruce.
Hello.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I'd like to ask you a question about. We have a small condo, 29 units in Fort Lauderdale. We'd like to do the entry lobby and the elevator cab update. We do have money in the reserves, but how would I go about if we didn't want to use that monies, and would I just be able to have a special assessment for all the unit owners? Would that require a board vote or a unit owner vote?
You indicated, we didn't quite hear the question completely. You indicated that the board is wanting to renovate the lobby and the elevator?
Yeah, we want to renovate the front entrance lobby with some tile and some new doors, hurricane proof. And the elevator cab has some termites and it needs to be replaced.
Bruce, if what you're talking about is considered maintenance of the common elements, then the board would be the individuals who would make the decision to adopt a special assessment to cover the cost. Now, if any of the work that you're considering is not one that would fall to maintenance, but actually turns into a material alteration of the common elements, there may be a requirement to get a unit owner vote, depending on the way your documents are written. So they'd have to be reviewed on that issue. For instance, let's say your lobby currently has carpeting, and you're putting in tile or a laminate wood floor instead of the carpeting. That would be considered a material alteration that would possibly require a vote of the owners if the documents so require. So that's an issue that may need assistance of your attorney to determine 100% on that.
I got you. Okay.
Okay, and Bruce, I don't know if you happen to hear what we were just talking about right before we took your call, but this is I appreciate your timing because this is exactly what we're talking about, and we understand we represent 5 units, 500 units, the same quality service. It doesn't change anything, and you're 29 units, but you're looking at entering into contracts to redo your elevators, to redo your lobbies, which is going to exceed, I'm sure, $100,000 or more. So these are when you're doing these contracts, you need to make sure you're budgeting for discretions, like maybe even having consultants come in and give specs, engineers, etc.
Oversight.
Experienced legal counsel reviewing these contracts and protecting the association, and that would tie in with guiding the board to ensure that if votes are, like Robert was just mentioning, if votes are necessary, obtaining those votes in advance. So that this process goes smoothly. So by all means, if you get with experienced counsel, and if you don't have, call me. I'll be happy to come give you a free consult.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right, Bruce, good luck with it.
Thanks so much.
Give everybody your phone number.
800-974-0680 or kbrlegal.com. There is right on our website info@kbrlegal.com. If you wanted to get in touch, you can certainly hit an email, zip an email through there, and we will respond accordingly.
There's also some really good articles on there. What's that guy's name out in Palm Beach Gardens?
Right. Excellent resources.
Rambam's Association Roundup.
His Roundup.
Along
There's
with
some good articles on there.
Our legal morsels would both be on our website page under resources. It opens up to a different group of tabs, one of which is legal morsels, one is Rambam's Association Roundup, all with very interesting articles that are available at no charge.
Right.
So my good friend was in town this week, who's president of his association.
Texas, right?
Right, in Dallas. And I was telling him about you guys, and he said, I tried, he's the president. He said, I tried to do a lot of it myself. I wanted to kind of show off a little bit that I'm saving money.
No good deed goes unpunished.
He said, worst decision I ever made. You must get an attorney that knows what they're doing.
Right. You want to save money, go cut the lawn.
No, then again, be careful.
Right.
Make sure your insurance is up to date.
Right, exactly.
And
wash the windows.
And
but
he also said, get someone that specializes in this area.
Correct.
Don't get a boutique that does criminal law and personal injury and bankruptcy, because they're not going to know everything. He said, I interviewed a lot of people. So it's
Well,
really,
Texas, we're not sure if they have the same level of attorneys like we have in Florida that focus in the area as much. They may, but not. I think Florida is somewhat unique to the country when it comes to that.
But there are also a lot of firms in Florida that community association law is part of what they do.
Yes.
And not, like you said, it's not their main focus
But this
or
is
sole
what you do,
focus.
though.
This
This
is
is-
our main and permanent. We
Live,
do have
breathe,
we
and
do
sleep.
we do have we do other we have 95% of our practice. I mean, there's a smattering of some simple probate. We do some simple real estate. Occasionally, we've helped some corporate clients out unrelated to
We do have a title
association.
company if
But there
necessary.
is a title company that's not. It's not part. It's Florida Marketable Title, which is its offices are within the law firm, but it's not part of the law firm.
Owned and operated by
But by independently, not the law firm.
by Robert
By
K. and
you and
Michael
me,
Bender.
right? But and that obviously we do very inexpensive, very efficient title work. And so that's something out that's something that ties into, because a lot of our association clients take titles of properties, and then they want to sell them, and we used to refer the title work out. Well, we said, well, this is silly. We're referring out, and they're getting charged these crazy fees.
Right.
So we will do we do closings for $500, $600 a closing. At Florida Marketable Title, which you can also reach at 800-974-0680.
are you allowed to give out not one, but multiple vendor names in all these different areas that they have to deal with?
What do you mean?
Well,
Make referrals to.
refers like an air conditioning company.
Well, we don't necessarily know of one air conditioner versus another, but sometimes we're called upon to provide resources such as accounting firms and management firms,
Engineers.
and
You're allowed to
engineers.
do that.
Of course,
course.
Okay.
but we all give a group of names for
Right.
them to choose from, and if they don't like any of them, we'll see if we can find others.
And know that when we're asked for these, what we're saying is these are companies that our clients, other clients of ours, association clients of ours, have used and been satisfied with. Because we've reviewed
Well, I figured that.
because we've reviewed the contracts,
Right.
and they've been fair in negotiating, and then they've followed through with what they said they would do, and if there was a problem, they quickly addressed it and corrected it. And that's a company that I'm going to say, hey, I know my client was satisfied with the work they did, and they were a company of their word, and they stood behind their product or that kind of thing, or their service. And so that's why we would give the name out, because it's someone who we have had experience with, successful and positive experience with other association clients.
I was saving this question. We're going to go to break. And
go to
I
break.
was saving this question. Is it ethical for someone who has a firm representing him to contact you for a second opinion?
well, why don't we take that when we come back?
Okay. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size, and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
And we are back. We're here with the K. Bender Rembaum firm. They are community association lawyers. First Thursday of the month, we have Robert and Michael here. And if you'd like to call us, we've still got about 12 minutes. The phone number here is 888-565-1470. We have another call. Let's go to the call. Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm good. I have a question.
Well, go right ahead.
Do you all only represent the association or the board or maybe the property manager for the association, or do you represent unit owners that have a problem?
Good question. Our representation is primarily of the association. It's not of the board. It's not of the management company or any specific unit owner. Our client would be the corporation. Obviously, the corporation is governed by a board of directors from whom all vendors take instruction or direction. So that's how that process works. On a rare occasion, we have taken on unit owner representation. But if it's not something that we necessarily would take on due to conflict or otherwise, we do have a couple of attorneys who we do refer to. So if you can certainly reach out, and we'd be happy to talk to you.
Okay, but the association, which has a board and has, used a property manager, would you all represent the property manager who works for the association?
No, we do not.
We do not represent the property manager.
Oh, okay.
Now, there may be a time when the association's contract with the manager provides for certain indemnification of the manager if claims are made, and under those circumstances, at the direction of the board,
right,
we will provide the representation to the manager under certain circumstances, but not as a general nature, no.
Okay, so that's at the direction of the board.
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Well, thanks for
you're very
calling, and
welcome.
thanks for listening.
You know, my favorite question for you guys is why should an association hire your firm?
Well, we have been doing this continuously since 1992 and provide services currently to, I believe last count we were somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 communities between the offices. And we not only have the experience that people need, but we also have certain policies and procedures in place that require our people to promptly respond to all inquiries that come in. When we are asked to provide something in writing, it's written in a format that is readily understandable by our clients, not something that they have to go and hire an attorney to translate for them. And I know that that's appreciated.
And it gives, well, I'm piggybacking off of that last part, and gives them the guidance that they need. I was actually meeting with a board this morning who was considering hiring us, and I was explaining to them, as I do a lot of these programs, is the role of the attorney, or of our job, is when you bring matters to us, and obviously many, not all matters, but many matters have a legal component that you should get some guidance. Our job is to make sure that we give you, the board, full information. What if there are multiple options? These are your options: cost benefit analysis, risk assessments. If there's a recommendation to be made, to make one. But ultimately, it's a business. These are business decisions the board makes. If you have a manager or management team, they're your business advisors, and you should reach out to them for your business guidance. Don't lean on them for legal advice. It's unfair, and quite frankly, they're not permitted to do it. Even though if you might, they're not supposed to. So, when you sit around your board table and you've come to us and we've given you an opinion that you can understand, guidance that isn't waffling, it's clarifying what your options are and giving you a recommendation when necessary. You now then can take that legal advice, combine it with the business guidance of your own acumen, as well as any business advisors you have, and make a fully informed business decision on behalf of the community. And that's what you want from your counsel. Someone who's accessible, someone who's responsive, someone who has the experience and the know-how to assist you with the issues that you're going to present. And there is a multitude of issues that come up that every day, a lot of which have some overlap, and we've got that experience.
Service is our middle name. And not to change the subject much, but before the break, you asked about getting a second opinion when you have an attorney on retainer. And I know that there's people out there that want to hear the answer to this, so I would like to address it briefly.
Please do.
Attorneys do not have exclusivity of representation of their clients, meaning
in community associations.
In community associations, certainly in this instance, but I think across the board, clients are what's important. They decide who their attorney is, and if they want to have multiple attorneys, they're allowed to do that. So if somebody's on retainer with us and we give an opinion and they aren't sure that they like that opinion or want to follow it, they're free to seek a second opinion from another attorney to see if that attorney is in agreement or not with the opinion they've got, or they can have multiple attorneys at any time working for them. we like to think that once our clients come to us, they're satisfied to the point where they don't need any other attorneys than us, but that is an option that they retain.
Well, I think the question posed was, could they come to us for a second opinion?
And certainly they could do that as well. There is no ethical
This is why I do
dilemma.
the marketing.
Well, we've got about 5 minutes. Can you just run by the dates again? Because a lot of people, the second half of the show, didn't hear the first half.
Listen, let me just say, go to our website at kbrlegal.com.
For our courses and seminars.
And look under courses, classes, and seminars, and that will give you all of the information you need. You can also email seminars@kbrlegal.com or info@kbrlegal.com. But I will tell you that the Ask the Attorneys free seminar series, which is right now, we have 2 in February. There's Thursday the 16th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the South County Civic Center on Jog Road in Delray. 2 J's to provide lunch. And then Tuesday, February 28th from 10 a.m. to noon at the Herb Skolnick Center in Pompano Beach. And I do know that Marcy Gershoni of Community Cable Consultants is a generous sponsor of at least one of those programs, but I wasn't given that information. So Marcy,
So which one it is?
She was at the one that we were
she
at.
was. And so Marcy Gershoni is getting her shout out anyway. Marcy Gershoni and Community Cable Consultants will be either in Delray Beach or Pompano, or perhaps both if she desires, to also add a little bit of extra education and information.
She got a lot of questions.
To associations who are looking to address bulk agreements for their communities. So that's another bonus. You got 2 J's at 1, you got Marcy and
They're all
Community Cable
free.
Consultants, and you got Robert and I answering the questions and the agenda set by you who attend. So RSVP. Those spaces, we do have room for more than the office classes, but they do still fill up. So do RSVP. Also, we want to make sure we have enough food for you. Because if you don't RSVP and you show up, you have to wait in line for your sandwich.
All at no charge, of course.
Yes, they're all free. And they're really, I'm a layman in this, and
And the only
2 hours I sat there, they're
Right.
really great questions.
It is. And then the last thing I will just remind everyone again is the class we have next Thursday, the 16th of February, Cybersecurity, Are You Prepared for a Breach? It's from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. in Pompano Beach. Then it will be given again Wednesday, March 1st from 11:30 to 1:30 at the Plastridge Insurance Boca Raton office on North Dixie Highway in Boca Raton. National expert Kevin Davis of Kevin Davis Insurance Services, Matt Reedy of Plastridge Insurance, and our own attorney, Lisa McGill, will be providing a great presentation on privacy breaches. Do you know your notification and regulatory obligations? Do you know how to communicate a notice of a breach? Do you know whether you need to offer credit monitoring? How will you pay for the cost of compliance, legal fees, and any penalties or fines? Come learn about common causes for breach, your obligations, and how you can protect your association.
All this and more.
It's a brand new class, first being given next Thursday. Seating is limited. It's in our Pompano office, so contact seminars@kbrlegal.com or call 800-974-0680, and we hope to see everybody out there.
Feel a little shaking going on?
I do. Is that a train
No,
nearby?
it's an earthquake. Anyway, listen, thanks. We have you guys the first Thursday of every month, Kay Bender Rimbaum. We're going to start, I haven't told them yet, we're going to start something new next time. We're going to get more into social media with the show here, especially this show right here, and give you another way to ask questions. So
They can tweet us during the show?
Yeah. So and we're also going to start doing some other things. So we'll see you next week with another Ask the Experts. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
We'll see you
Goodbye,
on
everybody.
Happy Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
We'll see you on March 2nd.
More winter, sadly.
We'll see you next
That what
week.
it is? Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show. Tune in while some of the top local experts in their field from Broward and Palm Beach counties educate you in the areas of law, health, financial, and home improvement. You can also call our offices at 888-574-6999 to become an expert on our show. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or